And the lady says, I meant gasoline.
No. I thought it was going to be a Tom Allen joke this week.
Right. Yeah.
Rip.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Tom Allen.
Yeah. He's that poor
Gone, but
guy.
not
All he
forgotten.
got was $15 million.
For
I'll
being a
take
bad
it. I'll
coach.
try it. I'll try it.
Just let me try it once.
Oh man,
Anish, if I had to buy you out from Boiled Sports, we've
Yes.
hypothetical.
Yeah.
We've put this scenario.
Sure.
Is it $1 million? Is it $2 million? What is the buyout?
I would my buyout is $5 million, but I would set that is over a 7-year period. So I would
Right.
settle for $3 million up.
And still, by the way, I heard your pal, who's your drinking buddy last weekend, Osterman literally talking on the radio about the settlement that Tom Allen took.
Mm-hmm.
And I still don't understand why Allen did it. I do not get it.
you don't get it. So
I do not get
the
it.
20
other than-
million with 20 million was over a longer period of time and would
No, I
have been
get that. I
offset.
get that.
It would have been offset if he took
Sure.
another job.
Sure.
So if he took a job making 5 million, now it's not 20 anymore, it's 15.
Okay.
So
that's
he took
fine.
15.
You have
guaranteed.
money right here, right?
Oh, I get it. Oh, yeah. I
Do
wouldn't.
you
want
think he's
anymore.
going to get $1 million job next year?
He thinks so.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
He thinks so. It doesn't matter if I do. And yeah, he will.
He could
He
get
will.
a pretty top tier defensive coordinator job for
I
sure.
think
Really? You can't tackle, my friends.
Yeah, but that's not
That's neither here nor
doesn't
no.
there.
matter.
I
That
actually
doesn't
think
matter.
he would be, and I
Or a
actually
Mac
kind of am
coach,
hoping
man.
for him to get a job. Like none of us dislike Tom Allen as a
Yeah,
guy.
Ball
Like he was
State.
never a jerk. Yeah, like let's say Candle got a job at like IU. Put Tom Allen at
Just
he'd be
trade.
such a good MAC coach. Just pumping those guys up and
Yeah.
I think his act would play better in
Yeah.
a small conference like that.
Yeah.
I really think it would.
The
This is
IU Handsome Hour.
This
the
is
Hoosier, the Hoosier Handsome Hour.
This is
There you go.
the Hoosier Handsome Hour. Man, so much to talk about. Naturally, we start with IU football.
Right.
Well, part of that infected us.
It's
this
woven in.
weekend,
It's
too.
woven into the topic this
Exactly.
week.
It's the Handsome Hour. It's Jay, Boil It Out, and Anish. And it was we're going to talk about football. I don't care what anyone says. We're going to talk about football for a while
For a long time.
because there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
That was the last. I know some basketball stuff has happened over the past week. I understand that. But Michael
Really?
is
Nothing
just
that
starting to get warmed up to do the basketball beat.
He's getting.
so.
It's like a ramp. He's just gotten on the ramp.
He waits till they get to number one.
The basketball happened, but it's nothing that hasn't happened before.
Exactly. Well, it is actually.
It's all good.
It's never happened.
Yeah,
No other Big Ten
it's-
school has done what Purdue just did.
oh,
But
oh.
we're not talking
What?
about that
What?
first.
Oh, hold on. We'll get there.
Purdue retains the bucket. College football is the best and the stupidest
It's so strange.
and the dumbest and the weirdest. And when I tweeted out the link to this, I sent the video that I sent to you guys that I tried to like zoom in on, where after the game, when they're playing the Quad City DJs and the cheerleaders are dancing around like a train, three of the players had grabbed pom-poms and were dancing like them.
Yes.
And I was like, that's what college football is right now, right
Yeah.
there. Just being goofy and weird and silly because you want a bucket. Because you want a
You want
bucket.
an antique oak bucket.
Yeah. You don't get that in college basketball. You don't get that anywhere else. That kind of just complete lunacy. And the personalities from Tom Allen to Nick Saban and Lane Kiffin and all these, and Dion and all these weird people. And then the way that these games end, that Washington State can somehow almost beat Washington, that Iowa State can beat Kansas State by scoring 42 points and only getting 10 first downs in the entire game.
Right.
Just absolute bizarro stuff. The way that Alabama can win 4th and goal from the 31. Auburn rushed 3. No, they rushed 2 with a spy.
They rushed 2. Just a spy, just in
I heard,
case. You
I
gotta
heard
prevent
multiple
the
podcasts
75-yard
discussing one radio show on my drive home, and I heard a podcast discussing. Brian, I don't know if you saw that. Auburn rushed 2 and spied Milroe.
Yeah. I saw the tape of it. I listened to it
But
live. But
why would you spy? He's not going to run for 31 yards through
No.
8 defenders.
No.
So that's the one time you don't do that, right? And then he finds. So that means you have 8. Wouldn't you just put, I don't know, 5 across the end zone and 3 across the goal line and just
You
throw the
you're
ball through the
sounding like a
fence.
You're sounding like $1 million defensive
Yeah, you
coordinator,
are.
Jay Mooney.
It was a great throw, but that's the kind of stuff that I saw I saw that it ended on a touchdown at the very end, right? And that they won. And I thought, well, that's what Alabama does. And then I saw the play on TV and I saw on the bottom of the screen that it said 4th and goal and they were on the 31. And I was like, this is amazing. I love college football.
Right.
I love it.
None of it makes any sense.
It doesn't, right.
It's incredible.
And it's
all perfect.
And it's exactly. And it's Labor Day is when it really gets going. I know there's week 0, but Labor Day is when it starts that's when everyone plays. And then Thanksgiving, it's over. And I know there's conference championships and all that.
It's too short.
But it's so short. That's what makes it special. I get
Right.
that. And it's very much compacted just into Saturdays. It's not like the NFL where it's like every damn day.
Right.
You know, you get some Friday nights and okay, here and there. But man, I love fall Saturdays for that.
Do you guys ever think about this too? It's such a short season, and the weather swings in that short season are so wild.
Well,
we
I looked
start
at
and we
people's
are in the
pictures.
hottest crap of the year.
People who posted pictures in Ross-Ada on Labor Day weekend.
Right.
And some of them were back for the Thanksgiving weekend game. It's
Right.
like, oh, yeah. Sunny and hot and gorgeous. And
It was that either the first or the second game in Ross A this year was just blazing. Like it felt punishingly hot. And the last game, like the funny thing is, 3/4 of the game we didn't feel the sun, and it was pretty chilly.
it was pretty cold. And then my entire drive home from Indiana to New Jersey on Sunday, almost the entire time was through a mix of ice,
Crap.
sleet,
Yeah.
rain. And I was like, usually weather travels west to east, right? So
Yeah.
how was I driving through all that the day after?
It
And
didn't
it
hit
didn't
us,
hit
yeah.
West Lafayette. And on Saturday, it was snowing in Kansas.
Yeah, it jumped up.
There was just like a little window
Yeah.
where it was sunny. in Kansas.
Well, the thing that's great, we really were spared if we look at the weather that we dealt with as fans this year. It was really not awful. We've had years where there's been like 3 or 4 rainy games.
Right.
This was a pretty good season for that. I mean, it's a shame the football wasn't like special or something like that. We just say, man, what a blessing every Saturday was, you know.
7 home games too. A little weird.
Yeah. And so front weighted too. That was the funny thing. We had that huge gap in there.
You had-
I
you
mean,
had-
like
Didn't you have
it-
4 or 5 games? 5 games in September, 4 of them at home. So you had 3 games at home after
Yeah,
September.
yeah,
So if
yeah.
it felt like you weren't there that much, it's because you weren't.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I'm glad you're. I mean, that's the thing. That trek back is no joke.
that's a long way. I
long,
drove
I
20
know.
plus hours on Thanksgiving weekend to come
Yeah.
see Purdue football, which
And
doesn't
Anish
sound sane.
had his family thing and that. So you drove probably close to 20 hours too because of the.
It was a little. It wasn't quite as insane. This is all Jay Money Jr.'s fault.
Right.
I like that Anish
Yeah.
tries to
Absolute
differentiate the
sicko.
levels of insanity that we both exhibit because
I mean, no,
because
no,
he
no,
comes
it's
from
all
Pittsburgh,
we-
so it's normal to drive to
Right.
Indiana.
Right.
It's half the distance. to be
It's
fair.
not half, I don't think.
It's half the distance. It's half the day. It's about.
There's
it's
no
a
way we
little
can figure
over.
that out, so I don't know why
Yeah,
we
how
would
can
argue
we
about
fact
it.
check? Oh, speaking of fact checking, I wanted to do something.
Oh, contract talk?
No. Like because you called me on my stupidity and it's rattled around in my head so badly. The end of my post game,
My favorite was
A
that
lot
you
of
thought
space
Curtis
in there.
Painter was
I
playing
know.
college football in 2017.
2017.
That means
And the
Jeff
funny
Brown
thing is-
coached him.
So here's the thing: as we get older, Jay, you'll be there in about a decade. You'll
No,
be
I
your
know. I do this too.
Holy moly! I don't know what happened. Like I could not place that date.
He glitched.
It
Yeah, it was
totally
like a-
glitched. And the thing is, LBD was a baby when he met Curtis Painter. Like he's being held by Curtis Painter or me in a picture. I've got a picture of Joe
You're
Tiller.
hard to tell apart.
Yeah, exactly. I just can't remember the picture. But after I had that back and forth with you, I was like, oh my gosh, my brain is broken. Because I was like, yeah, it's got to be some special year, but I couldn't get there. Like I was flipping through the Rolodex and it wouldn't stop. That was great. So I actually appreciate you
For those of you who didn't tune
calling me on
in,
that.
Boiler was asked about on his post game, and why didn't you tune in? Because they're always good. He was asked about his throwback jersey, his greasy
It's
throwback,
excellent. Oh,
and
it's amazing.
It's a beautiful jersey.
he said he got it when Curtis Painter played when they dressed in those for one game.
Mhm.
And he said, so that'll be about, I'd say 2016 or 2017. And I was
Mercy.
like, oh, no.
Mercy. Mercy.
Curtis Painter comes out. He's balding. He's 35
Exactly.
years old.
He's lost 40 pounds of muscle. I mean, like he is
He's skinny.
he's skinny.
He's skinny.
I didn't wear that jersey because he was the honorary captain. That is not why I wore it.
So that's not your Curtis Painter jersey. That's
It's not
your
like I
Bob
do
Greasy.
not think of it that way. I think that is my Bob Greasy jersey. So I wish I could find the black version of that Greasy jersey because Nike retroed those too, and they actually have Greasy on the back, and they're around.
Ooh.
But I've found them on eBay every now and again, and they're like quadruple XLs, and I'm like, I can't even.
Not yet.
I can't do that.
Not
Right?
yet.
That's right. Give it a year or two.
Pharrell Hammers says, would you rather drive from New Jersey every weekend or Pittsburgh? That's not the point. And don't try to get in good with a niche is what I will say to you.
Right.
That's
right.
not.
That's right. We can spell Pittsburgh better. We can be better.
Isn't that the old timey
guys.
spelling? Wasn't there a?
So okay, here to be entirely fair.
Yes, thank you.
There's a whole bunch of like Wilkinsburg and all of these places like around Pittsburgh, and none of them have the H at the end.
Yes.
The only thing that has the H at the end is Pittsburgh. That doesn't make any sense.
Is there Waynesburg not far from Pittsburgh? Is that true?
It could be.
Okay.
I know Wayne. I know.
I think
Wayne
there's a
here,
Waynesburg.
so
I
it
think I
could be.
know somebody from Waynesburg. So
Okay.
I think I do.
Ethan is from Butler, but that doesn't matter.
Right. So a friend of mine asked
north.
in the margin, where's my Purdue blazer? And here's the thing. I didn't even wear it to church this week. Usually I wear that kind of as a silent, the old Tyler Trent jacket. I usually wear it for that, but I was like, you know what? I don't feel much triumph here because 3-8 versus 3-8. And so I never wear it to the show.
You.
So, what'd you say?
You really letting that bother you?
No, it's not that I make it let it bother me. There's some people that are IU fans. That's because they're licking their wounds. I'm not kidding. There's some.
There were people.
Hey,
there were people, and you and I was very glad in your post game that you called us. I was very, very happy that early on you called out the people who were like seeming to revel in being like negative about.
Yeah, that stuff pisses me off as bad as anything.
What does it matter? Okay, so let's cancel the season. Like, what do you mean? What does it matter? Like,
it's all stupid.
None of it matters. So like,
it's all stupid.
Was Saturday fun? Just look at Saturday. Just Saturday.
So super fun day.
Just that day. Was
super
football
fun
good?
day.
No, it doesn't matter. It was super fun.
Right.
It was
That's the
super
point.
Fun. Yeah, especially fun. Yeah. What do you think 2, 3, and 8 teams are going to do? They're either going to play a crappy Iowa 10-6 game, or they're going to do some nonsense like that where it looks like it was a shootout, but in reality it was like teeth.
They didn't score until the middle of the third quarter, and then all of a sudden, pew 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 pew.
Well, and everyone, I guess, got tired and just, I mean, when it started and IU threw an interception to Thieneman.
So ugly.
No, but when he threw that interception that early, and Thieneman brings it back to like the 12.
Purdue should have scored right away.
My
just
first
struck
thought
right
was,
at the throat, right?
My first thought was, this is going to be an old time Purdue IU
Right.
game. They're going to be so hyped up, all so excited, and then it's bad call, drop pass, missed field goal. It's like, wow, what a way to let the air out of the balloon.
Man.
Whew.
I mean, the amount of drop passes in the first half was rough. And again, rest in peace to his leg. But like Garrett Miller struggled.
Well,
He
I
was
watched the
struggling in
highlights.
first half, even before his injury.
That first possession, that third down to him in the end zone, was very catchable. He laid out,
hit him in the hands,
but it was right in his hands.
But it was avoiding kind of the avoiding the linebacker that was kind of reaching, and so it was like that is one of the ones that's got to be caught, right? And it's like these are the margins. These are the margins that make it turn it from a comfortable win to whatever that nonsense.
Well, and the other thing Boiler called out in his post game, and I had not seen this till again I watched the highlights, was why am I forgetting the receiver's name? Number 4. This is the old brain.
Burks.
I wanted to say Deion Branch because I think he was a receiver in the NFL, right? Yes, Deion Branch, Deion Burks. See, it's not that. I knew it was wrong, but so I didn't say it. But
no, it's not
that long play down the sidelines. You had called out the fact that he had some trouble during the week and he dropped some balls and he was making sure he
Did
caught
you
it.
see the replay of that?
That's what I was just going to say. I watched it and you said he didn't really need to dive. And I watched it. I was like, oh my goodness.
He's dragging his toes.
He almost dropped it.
He did this
He's
thing.
dragging
I'm going to
toes,
make
though,
sure
as
this
if he's
ball.
right by the out of bounds.
But he didn't need to fall even.
No, he could have run under it and walked.
But I get it. To the same point you made, I get it.
Yeah.
He was not going to not catch that ball. And
Right.
I appreciate that. That is having your head in the game in the sense that I don't have to catch this and run. If I catch it, it's a huge gain, and I fall on the ground. That's fine. Still huge, right?
Yeah.
The play call again. I'm not to completely recap your recap, but the play call on the Maccabee 4th down play. Gosh, so fun, so fun.
Yeah.
Like, and your brain slowly like when you replay it, right? I remember seeing Maccabee release and go, and I'm like, and you're in slow motion in your head. You're like, nobody's with him, but you're worried about Card. Like, why isn't Card moving? Why is he just standing there? Shouldn't he be running up the middle? Oh no, he's going to throw it to him.
That's the thing. It's so great about that play call is it's not super tricky. It's just clean and easy.
You got to execute it though. You got to do it just right. And the throw has to be good. Let's be honest. Right. You could screw that up. You could overthrow him. He could drop it. There's a lot
during the Tiller era. Brandon Jones used to run the wheel route a lot out of the backfield, and they would like play on the fact that he would kind of get lost. There would be no linebacker on because he would fake like he was going to go get a block on the inside, just kind of shoulder fake in, and then he'd go out, and Orton would have to just put it right in the right place. And if he did, there's nobody out there. Like Purdue did it 3 or 4 times, I think, to Brandon Jones specifically, and it reminded me a bit of that type of play where you're like, it looks easy. It is easy, but you got to do it with everybody, every eye in the stadium on you. Man,
and the line has to hold for at least the couple
seconds.
They
did a good job there. Yep.
Right? The couple seconds to let Card make the throw.
Yeah.
So staying there for us.
I mean, it was high pressure. That was the drive to win it, or to set up.
That was the one that's really the drive that sets up the victory. Sure.
And, it's after a game where he didn't have, I mean, like he had a couple moments.
Right. He didn't run the ball as well as Tracy by any means, and he has in previous weeks.
But like even Burks when he, before that catch, he didn't have the best
2 drops, didn't he?
Games before it. Yeah, he had a couple of drops, and then Garrett Miller had a couple drops, and then one of the young receivers had 1. But I was actually really impressed with the younger receivers that didn't get as much playing time.
Do you think Purdue could use McCollum? Right? He's in the portal.
I mean, everybody's in the portal.
I know. I like McCollum. So here, let's talk about that real quick. Everybody be in the portal. So I've had a couple people text me, and I think Chris Harder's on here. I think I saw that earlier.
Yeah.
And he asked the question of me, just an opinion of, is something wrong right now? I said, no. This. No. You've got 10 guys so far that I've counted. You've got 3 starters. Kaltenberger. I've messed it up almost every time. Kaltenberger, Sheffield, and
Sidner kind of.
Kind of. There's one other that I think is a starter.
OC. The
OC brothers. Yep. But he was up front. I don't think he was starting at the end of the season. And then you had some guys that like Macias played in kind of injury duty, right?
Spot minutes,
duty,
or spot kicks. Yeah.
But the OC brothers, though, that losing 2 guys is tough. But
that's both.
But so you've got 10 guys that have already entered the portal. Last year, I think Purdue lost. What did we say? 37
something. 30.
And obviously, it's different when a coach leaves. So the big thing that you want is you just don't want to see. I've named. I think I'm not sure I did with you or something.
There's only one name. There's only one.
No, I say 4 or 5 that are just
nope. Because 2. Those guys aren't leaving. I am not. Oh. I am not concerned about Dillon Thieneman leaving.
Okay.
I'm not. Hudson Card can't leave. Like I am concerned with one name and Deion Burks.
Well, let's not say it and ruin it.
I don't think
let's just not saying it.
Nic Scourton.
Damn it!
Somebody.
Why would you say it?
Scourton. I think I missed.
I know, but you said it. You still said it. This is like, why would you say
it? Somebody pull out $1 million NIL contract because that guy is needed. I mean, like Dillon Thieneman will be the heart of the defense, but like there's one transfer we should not want to hear. Right, to me, there are a bunch of good players. I think the others can be filled in. I think this class. I have faith in some of.
I got another guy that would be devastating if he left, but I'm not going to talk about it.
Why? That's what we're here for.
I'm not talking about that. I'm really not. I hate to be. I'm not a superstitious person, but I don't.
Clearly.
To me, there are players that we love, let's say in the backfield, that I think could be. I'm talking about Dylan Downing.
Yeah.
That could be like you can fill the gaps while they are beloved to us. Like you can scheme around these.
That guy's
losses.
not going anywhere.
They would hurt.
That guy's not going anywhere.
They would hurt. I hope not. They would hurt, but it wouldn't be anything you couldn't scheme around. Scourton leaving would be
Scourton would leave a
so
deep
to me
wound.
that is the number one. That is the single.
I will say though, here's my opinion. Okay, that we saw such a radical turnaround with the defense. Those ends became integral, right? Monstrous. Even when Sidnor was playing end, in duty for Scourton, right? He was a beast there too. I think
But
this
he's
system is really good. If you've got a guy who's got high motor and is a big, strong dude, I think I don't mean to say simple, but I think the system is geared up to really put pressure on the quarterback.
It's easier to make. I mean, those two, I think at least one of those two will have one of the two edge rushers will be all Big Ten.
And we've had
should be
people
all
ask
Big
the
Ten.
question. I think it's a good question, and I know the answer to it, and you guys might as well. You probably do because you were in the stadium. But people have asked, "Is Jenkins coming back? Did he walk through in senior day?" Well, okay, yes, he did walk through. Okay, that's the first question. Can he come back? Yes, he can.
Yeah.
Will he
Because
come back?
nothing
I
makes
don't
sense.
think so. I think he's going to go make money in the NFL, and I would too.
He should start the clock on. Take fewer hits. Start the clock on the NFL.
Yeah, when you think about it from that point of view, like what you just said, and he's like if you could make money in the NFL, like it's not like basketball where it's still a beating on your body, but it's 30 games.
Yeah.
You're getting NIL money, right? The decision to come back for basketball is much more it's tenable now because it's like you hear the stories about Zach Edey making $1 million plus from NIL.
Yeah.
It was $1 million last year, so I bet it's more than that now.
Right.
And you can weigh that out better than making zero or going to the NBA and making something. And you're not, yes, you could get hurt, sure. But football. I mean, we see, look at how many guys just have devastating leg injuries and I mean, to come back and man,
and he's a pro. He's a
pro now.
I mean, like he'll probably be a day. I think he's a day 2 guy, but so you'd be lucky to get him on day 2. Like to me, if he slips to 3, like that's a steal. He's going to be a steal. Yeah. He's probably going to end up on the freaking Patriots, and he's going to be a lifer.
How about Purdue churning out NFL talent, churning it out?
Yeah.
Aiden O'Connell starting, George Kalab, right? Raheem Mostert,
Mostert just had a huge game again. I don't
even want to say.
And I think Ty Tracy will be a guy in the NFL that'll be a special teams monster. Yeah. I think he'll work in at third on a depth chart. Mm-hmm. I think he'll be a great addition to our roster. I mean, he can do a lot of stuff. That's the thing. NFL is always looking for guys who can multi-role, right?
Yeah.
So he'd be a good addition.
But Tyrone Tracy was fun. He was so fun this year. I was so happy.
Isn't that great?
He kind of
emerged that out of him, and he got that too. I mean, I think that's awesome.
He had a great time Saturday. He was. Yeah. You saw those clips of him, saying, "This is my last time coming out here." Like he was trying to. When he came out for the senior walk, he was stopping and being wanting more.
See the picture of him with the letters around his neck and the bucket. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, those are the dudes, and I mean, speaking of transfers that instantly kind of came in and had the game of their life in the bucket game. See, it seems like any kind of IU game brings out the best in these transfers, but in the arena, you knew it in the moment that Hudson Card was having a good game. Hudson Card was having a really good game, but you could see that he was a little hesitant. He was kind of
that first half. He was really hesitant, wasn't he?
And then you see the highlight, but then you're caught up in the moment.
The second, he did. Exactly. Yes, he did.
You get caught in the moment. You're only paying attention to what Purdue needs. You're down 10. You need these 2 drives. When you see the highlights, that is an immortal game by Hudson Card. That was so good. And the stats won't show it because the rushing stats actually kind of
4 touchdowns generated.
But the yards never pop. But 87 yards on a broken or a bruised rib
or a cracked rib. Look, I have a theory on that. When you guys are just talking about how it kind of changed in the second half. If you were out there playing, I mean, none of us because we wouldn't be able to. We'd be in bed. I think.
Amazing.
Can you imagine sneezing or breathing or turning wrong and how it hurts, and then having, like you said, angry guys chasing you that want to smash you into the turf? Okay, let's say you go out there and you're good enough to do. You can play, but man, I don't want to get hit today. You run the game plan and the approach that that the coaches put together, right? Let's say Purdue's up by 14 at halftime. Then you're saying, hey, it's working. I'm going to keep doing it this way. They were not, though. They were losing. So he had to change the way he was doing it. He had to change the approach. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, exactly. Of course. No, it. I mean,
you should have heard the distraction when it came in the room. It was loud. It was thunderous.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just incredible performance by Card. You see the highlights, and it's just like that dude was gutting it out. Again, in the stadium, you're just at least for me, I'm just focused on what kind of Purdue needs, where they are, what the field position was, some of the kicking woes in the first half, and again, to be fair, they didn't reappear in the second half.
Right. Suddenly
again,
they started kicking well, amazingly.
I mean, like vital, like absolutely vital for that. And so, but like, Tracy had a great season, but Card was the, foundation of the offense, and also just, I mean, had his best game in the bucket game, best game against IU. That's all you ask. These are the things in 4-win seasons where it's like, that's the stuff that makes.
But did he have any
truly
bad games that you wouldn't say, well, maybe it was maybe like what, Iowa?
Iowa's the one where it's like maybe his performance was what.
Yeah, he was struggling. He was struggling there with the injury too, right? Isn't that true?
I feel like he was.
I mean, second half of the year. I mean, like he was hurt. And he was the one injury that we all said, like, it's going to be tough. I mean, Northwestern, shout out to their 7-win season, but we all agree that that's a win if even this version of Card we saw in the bucket game plays. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And so there's 5, right? And you end on a 3-game winning streak. I mean, it's one thing we were talking about this. I do want to bring this up in the era of transfers, in the era of this new era of recruiting, things like that. And also era of transferring players in to make it a good, attractive landing spot, recruiting, kind of clinching these players, because I think next week is the first signing day. And then,
so many signing days,
which is ridiculous. But then kind of self-recruiting and making sure that the players that you don't want to leave don't leave. I don't believe that the play in one season carries over to another based on anything, the way that you end the year, right? That kind of momentum doesn't exist. What we were talking about was fan momentum and NIL donations and season tickets and that kind of enthusiasm. You needed a bucket win to clinch that, right?
Yeah.
The other part of this is that a full stadium full of people that Zach Osterman kind of messaged me in the middle of the game and was like, this is a stadium full of people that should be on most wanted posters and institutionalized. I mean, to show up like that for 2-3
I kept looking around at that stadium and I was like,
85%.
No,
probably,
Jack,
85%
my son looked it up on the way
full.
home and the ESPN data thing said it was over capacity.
Well,
total
so I mean, we know the seats were sold, but it was, I'd say, 90% full.
Oh, more than 90. You think it was 10% empty? There was one little spot up in that
No.
corner.
I'll tell you why I think it was 10% empty. If you look at the pictures that were taken from different angles, because I took one when we were all hanging out on the deck there, the rich guy seats were pretty empty.
Oh, the
gold seats, and they weren't all just inside.
Don't you think they just
top? Yeah.
So. Which is kind of lousy. Those people wouldn't be there, but
those people. I mean,
if I want to give somebody a hard time, I can give the donor some shit. So.
Yeah, well, when the horseshoe is filled to the very top,
yeah, that was awesome.
Packed in with
great. I would like
and wearing black.
Like to shout out.
It wasn't packed with IU people. It was packed with Purdue fans.
There were some IU people, but it was Purdue fans. And this is the thing, though. That packed stadium
real quick, Jay,
there.
LBD asked a question. You talk to most of those super rich of the fan base.
You're in those circles, right?
Right. So
they don't let me in.
Actually, I was sitting over in those seats in the billionaire
billionaire row. Yeah.
Not quite.
Legitimately though, no, but legitimately thanks to our
benefactor.
Anonymous benefactor, because who actually exists in real life.
Yeah.
But who's the best?
Amazing guy.
I mean, like that. Genuinely.
That's one of the things like that. I mean, he's an amazing person. He gets season tickets because it's another way to donate. He doesn't live any place near the stadium. And then when he can't come, he usually gives them to people that use them.
Just all of us should be institutionalized.
Right.
I mean, like it is nuts. But that level of support and enthusiasm, same thing for the Minnesota game. I mean, like there's no reason for the stadium for Minnesota and IU to be that full. But that is what, like, if anything, that is what keeps players from transferring or keeps players saying, hey, this could be a good place
environment.
For me. If the role is here, if the NIL deal is here, why leave? Like, this is a real place. You can get like Big Ten accolades, which puts you on the national stage. Like,
Yeah, you're literally on the biggest it's the biggest stage. I'd say Big Ten, the TV contract, you can't argue it.
We're Purdue, and we got 2 national TV games, right? Yeah. I mean, it's like this is the gladiator pit, right? Like this is the big to the power 2 is where you want to be. Yeah. And Purdue kind of shows that among the not top tier of the Big Ten, like the not now, I suppose, 6 schools that kind of rule the Big Ten starting next year. Outside of that, I don't know if you have a more passionate, insane fan base, than like assuming Wisconsin is up top. Like you've got Nebraska, obviously, because those fans are insane.
But they're mean and angry.
But a different level of insane. Yeah, you got Iowa, but they should be a different level of insane.
They win 10 games, though.
Different wing.
It's not hard to go support a team that's winning 10 games.
Speaking of Iowa fans, did you see the guys with the punch shirt on?
Oh, that's funny. So I did.
Good. So good.
Did you see Did you see the send off their punter got on Senior Day?
Yeah,
he had the camera following him like the Joe Burrow send off, and it wasn't ironic. It was
really
like he's great.
Yes,
he's great.
They love him.
I mean, he's a punter,
but he's like the greatest Iowa player of the last 4 years.
Yeah,
he's probably his legs probably worn out.
I'm so glad.
Like a running back.
I think Charlie Jones might. Charlie Jones.
Well, he's a Purdue player. You guys told me.
He's a Purdue player. I don't know.
Anish, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you chummed the waters and mentioned Nebraska because we didn't talk about them last week, and because everyone in the comments bullied us into moving on to football. But Nebraska was 5-3 after they lucked into a win over Purdue, and their fans were chirping. And in everybody's mentions, mine, McManus's, anybody who would say anything. Especially people who are like, yeah, you guys are getting awfully mouthy you're not back yet. I got to tell you, you're not. You just beat a bad Purdue team. You're not. And then they lost out. Oh, it's so delicious.
Can they sneak into a bowl with 5 because of academics? Because not every 5 win.
Minnesota will, but they won't.
Minnesota will because they have a better APR or whatever, and then they're actually going to put JMU
in Jacksonville State.
They are going to get
because there aren't enough 6 and 6s, and that was the only way JMU could get asked to go.
That's great.
So hopefully they go. I don't care even if Nebraska did. That would almost be funnier because it's like they went one other time. I think under Riley they went as a 5-7 team to a bowl, and
yeah. I mean, like it is. See, there you go.
I'm so glad you guys are so easily entertained.
Yeah, but like they're not back. They're an insane. They're the worst part of the insane fan base. But what you're trying to show, the stuff that matters for games like that, showing kind of games like that as the laser light show starts, is that when you're trying to convince your own players that this is a place to buy into, you're buying into the coaching staff, you're buying into the NIL, but also it's like the fan base needs to show out, and that's what they did. That's what everybody did in Ross-Ade all year. That to me is among the most impressive things to come out of this year. So like, it's great. I thought.
Okay, have you guys done them all? Have you done them all now? Are you good?
Exactly.
You good with all your every show? It's like 2 little toddlers come in and. Okay, we're all done.
But it's insane behavior, but I'm glad. I'm glad we went. It was good. It was good.
I'm glad they won when I took that level of journey because it occurred to me during that game that man, they're gonna lose this game to IU, and I came all the way out here for that. Like, Anish can just take you guys off the screen, you know.
I know he can.
Timeout.
By the way, he was never around for the times where I was clowning around with the Google subtitles. He was never around for that. This is just in him. Somehow genetics found it.
I know. I know where he gets it.
Right.
By the way, I think this is the time. We're about a half an hour in. This is the time where we announce. J Money? Would you like to announce your holiday miracle?
I should have tweeted it. In fact, I still could. There's no rule against that. But the BS can koozies, the insulated drink holders. If you go to the BS store, you can get. And you can scan it right now if you'd like to. They're back in stock. I literally was in the basement straightening up to get all the Christmas stuff out. And there was a box there that was sealed. And I thought, what the hell is a sealed taped box that's clearly never been opened? It's not like I closed it up because every box in your basement's usually got like the tucked in corners thing.
It's beaten up, I
was like, what the hell is this? And then I look on the side of it and it says like, all it says is like small. It says like aluminum cans. And I'm like, no. that can't. No. And I pick it up, and it's about the weight that I remember the other one. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I open it, and it's all the little white boxes, and I'm like, and I still even opened those because I was like, I still don't believe that's what's in here. And there's another 24. And you know the reason I was in such denial is because when I put them on the site, I put in the quantity that we had so that when they're gone, it stops selling them, right? So hold up, but I was off by 24 apparently.
That's it. Just 24.
You just didn't count. So get your can koozie for
Get one for your uncle. Get one for your dad.
It's a perfect stocking
for you.
stuffer.
It really is.
You should love yourself this holiday season.
Yep,
And
someone's can.
yeah, exactly. See the people scanning those codes.
It's a insulated drink cooler, like a Yeti, like a mini Yeti. It's not a Yeti, and then it also has a separate lid where it can be where you put your beer can in it or your seltzer can or your Coke can, and you put the top on it, and it's a koozie. It does two things. It's 2 in 1. It's like a transformer.
So let's go. It's
like Optimus Prime.
So you get it at the BS only.
That's right.
Store. Click
the
little button.
That little scan, or just go to our site and go to buying stuff, the store, whatever it says.
Click the buy stuff.
The buy stuff button. Speaking of buying stuff, if you wanted some great Purdue apparel, where would you guys go?
I would go. I have one stop. I'm just
One
one
place?
stop guy. I go to homefieldapparel.com. And I could get this sweatshirt or this.
Man, you just layer up with it. You
Let's
probably
do
have
it.
home field underwear on.
What was that? What's the gold one that you got?
I've got,
underneath? What's that one?
let's see what.
Oh, nice old
old
one.
Pete.
Very
nice.
The old Pete.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. What happens? But what if you wanted to get? What if you wanted to get some gifts?
Okay, so here you've got
but
about
there were
2
lots of
hours.
things.
You got 2 hours to get full 20% off thanks to their Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and I think it's. Do you enter Black Friday still? It's on the website there.
Yeah.
I think it's
And
Black Friday.
so it was Black Friday for another 2 hours. Literally, I think it's the end of the day today, Eastern time. And then if you miss out on that, enter boiled 23 for 50.
You're going to be under limited time if you don't go during the show because
Let's go
this might
right
go
now.
a while.
Go right
can-
now.
you can
You're saying
Spend
this
your
might
money.
not be an hour. Is what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Spend your money.
When have we ever gone over an hour on
Never.
the show?
And then shout out to AJ's for reserving us
Yeah,
a table
our
after the game. Our
Our other sponsor,
benefactor.
friend of the program, very, very good all around crew. Adam took care
The
of
mac
us
and cheese bites.
as
The
usual.
mac and cheese bites are just
He's just a good guy.
delectable.
Just go in there,
It's just incredible.
ask for Adam.
What's the science? How do you deep fry mac and cheese like this? I don't
How
know.
have they figured it out? How
How
have
they
they
did it?
figured
They did
it
it
out.
though.
They-
It doesn't matter how
they
they
went
did
in
it.
the
They
lab.
did it.
They went in the lab and they
Yeah,
figured it out.
exactly.
so
Failure,
preoccupied with whether they could?
failure, success. And I stuffed my mouth with them.
Oh, so good. Beef here.
So it was a good.
So
It was a good one. We got two trophies, decisive wins. In at least 3 of the 4 wins. Maybe 2 losses, 3 losses.
It could have gone the other way.
Kind of
Sure.
razor on the
Oh, think
razor's
about how
edge.
you feel if this year's Purdue team goes 6-6. Think about your
Limped
excitement
into 6
level.
wins.
Rocket
And,
fuel.
and I'm not trying to. You said this too. I'm not trying to say, oh, they were right there. They lost those games. They absolutely lost
Yeah.
those games. But I said to you guys after week 1 that Fresno was going to bother me all year because that's one of the ones you have to have. Not just because they're not a major conference opponent. They were fine. They're a good team. They're well coached. But because you had them. You had them down in the 4th.
I was on record this offseason saying there's no chance at a bowl game, that 4 to 5 wins, about as much as I think we can expect. Just win the bucket, show a good defense, like carry the recruiting, like top 30 recruiting class go in next year with momentum. That's what I was looking at. That was exactly what we got. The Fresno game, which was
They're 8
kind
and 4,
of
by the way. They're good.
the other side,
Exactly what we thought
exactly
they'd
the
be.
Fresno game, but then the Northwestern game. Those are 2 easy ones where it's like if Hudson Card was healthy, like all
There's
of
your
a sudden
2.
those flip. There's your 2. That's not even
Iowa
too
game
far
was
away,
winnable
right?
too.
I was very
Iowa
winning.
game
See,
was
but
really
then-
winnable.
But then there are the close wins, so then there's this IU game that was very losable.
And every
right?
Iowa,
You know what I
every
mean?
Iowa win is like that. Let's not lose sight of the fact that they're 10-2.
Right. They
and
probably
that's
would have found a
always
way.
how they win.
Speaking of things that we got right,
We
I
said
don't
that in
know why
like
we
week
didn't
1.
put
We
down-
looked at the schedule and we said
no preseason.
they're not going to
Preseason.
score anywhere near the points they need to, and they're going to win 10 games and win the West. We freaking said that. It was so obvious,
It's
and why we didn't
incredible.
fade that or bet that, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know because we're not.
I
very
would love
smart
to see them
people.
beat Michigan. Gosh, would that
But-
be the best? Everyone's just assuming a Michigan win, which is probably correct. But
So we'll get into chaos situations, but in general, like the Purdue season, what are for me, I think it's good. Like I think the defense showed that it is real. It's like Walters is every bit the kind of defensive guy that he was kind of sold to be. His recruiting is like instantly top 30. It looks like he's going to be able to draw draw people in the transfer portal.
Why wouldn't you want to
and
play with for
retain
that
the
guy,
talent.
especially on the defensive side of the ball? I mean,
And he seems
Dude,
like
Card
he seems
last-
awesome. He's awesome. He's
awesome,
cool.
yeah.
It's great. Like that's the thing. And then Card when like you LB like you were saying Card going at like ending this year with that IU game. It's like to me it leaves like general good
Oh, yeah.
feelings
Yeah.
like going into the Walters
Oh,
era.
yeah.
What do you guys?
yeah,
what
I
do
think
you guys
those good feelings. I touched on that in the post game. My friend Ron talked about it. How important the good feelings rolling over for the program really are. You know, that game. It seems like bumping up to 4 wins, big damn deal. And the funny thing is, if you watch Walter's post game, he was not super thrilled about winning.
Nope.
He was just like, okay, yeah, we won. Now we got to move on. I mean, that was
But that's good, right? Danny Hope would have been absolutely ecstatic.
over the moon.
Right. And I think that's great to be a little bit of the cranky coach. Like, yeah, a lot we can get better at, though. And I'm going to go out tomorrow and start working. Like, love
Right.
that. And that's
Right.
what a young guy is going to do. That's
Yeah,
not just him
exactly.
saying that. He is going to go work. And
I mean, that was the proof that was the reason why, like you're buying in on. That's why there's this whole wave of mid 30s to early 40s coaches because this is
young man's game.
like you end this season and the reward post Thanksgiving reward is the busiest 10 days of your
Yeah,
year.
it's hard, man.
I mean, like you've gotta. That's why IU should go and hire John Gruden. Why wouldn't you want championship mentality? Just
I bit the
team?
hook for a split second there. I bit it. I was about to go, why would you? Oh, damn it.
I think you need that kind of manic energy. That is what college football these days needs. Is
Okay.
someone who has never coached college football in the last 3
And is
decades.
60 years
It's
old, by the
fine.
way. 60.
It's fine. I think. Yeah, but he's a
He's
young 60.
He's a
It's
young
fine.
racist 60 or
I
60.
think
Yeah.
the-
So wait a minute. So since you brought that up, I don't really want to talk too
A
much.
lot of people were talking about,
But what? Where did that even come from? Does he have a
it's
connection?
false, by the way. It's
Of course,
false.
it's false. Everybody who knows stuff, Osterman
Right.
tweeted it right away. Like
Right.
he's like, "Don't worry about this. If you're
Yeah,
worried
it's not
about this, don't worry about it." And other
If you're
people-
still listening and you
Slap
do
John.
listen, what about Gruden? Don't worry, it's not real. This is false. Maybe it was Jay Gruden. That's
I would love John. They should hire him. I think as a longtime IU
But
fan,
wait a minute.
I think
What
that they should
is the
hire John Gruden.
connection? What would make that even?
It's got to be an agent. It's got to be an agent.
He's not an
that
IU
is
guy,
just
right?
like-
He's not like Mark
No.
Cuban. He's
No.
got some connection, right?
No, there's no IU.
Then what are we
connection,
talking
no.
about?
But the agent was like, "Let's get John's name back out there." Like that's it. It's
Like
insane. It's an
if I
insane
didn't
business.
want IU to be
do you
bad,
think do you think IU already gave him an email address so he could start sending stuff out to people? Or
I hope so.
if I didn't,
I hope so.
if I didn't have a vested interest in IU being bad, I would want Ryan Day to go there after he gets run out of town and then build a winner at
listen, it wouldn't
Well,
take
that
long for Ryan Day to build a winner anywhere.
No.
That's
Anywhere.
the thing.
No.
If he ends up any place, he's going to be good.
He's
no,
he's
Ohio State
56
should
and
fire him.
7.
Ohio State should fire him. Those 7 losses.
There you go. There's a
were
connection, by
probably
the way.
against bad
Rodrigo
teams.
A has the connection. That's very
His
good.
dad worked for Corso in the 70s, and Gruden still goes to Bloomington every now and then.
Okay, I don't know about the last
Purdue
part.
delivery trucks.
I don't know about the last part, but I'll say that if that's true, if his dad worked for Corso, that's a legit connection because Corso did coach at IU, and he was wildly successful at IU.
That's why
Wait, that's
they
not
should
true.
harken back to those days. and
Exactly.
hire John Gruden. This is what I think IU should do.
Oh,
My dear Hoosiers.
The most recent comment, I don't know who that is there. H.H. Coldy says, the one coach I'm seriously worried about is Jamarcus Shepard. Yeah, I wouldn't enjoy that.
No.
Wouldn't-
Okay, so here, let me
I
ask
would-
you guys. I heard
Could be
another
hired by
name.
somebody.
I heard another name that was kind of scary to me because I think it's somewhat realistic. I don't know if he's a real name on there, but I heard it. Osterman was talking about on the radio. Tom Herman.
Oh, dear.
I think that'd be
I don't-
terrifying. I think that's terrifying.
Isn't he at Florida Atlantic now?
I think he stays.
Yeah, that's what I was
He's
thinking.
in
not
Central
leaving.
Florida.
No, for FAU, isn't
No,
he?
yeah.
Okay, regardless of where he is, do you think
one
there's
of them-
Big
one
Ten
of the
money can
Floridas.
beat that? Yes, it can.
It can't. Oh, of course.
Yeah, but I don't think that. I think he stays south. Like I think he, I think that
FAU.
I don't know.
Those are the
I don't
type-
know. Listen,
like
we
French,
just saw
right?
Oregon State's coach, who's an alum, get wooed away from Oregon State.
But that is Oregon State. I think I would. So
you're saying
okay,
FAU or wherever it is.
He's at FAU.
Central or
FAU.
whatever.
Tom Herman.
Yeah, FAU. Okay.
Tom Herman has coached at both Iowa State, Ohio State, and the Chicago Bears. So
Yeah, Herman would be not a good story for us. He'd be good there.
That'd be a bad story.
Yeah.
for
He'd
him.
recruit very well.
I don't. I think that he would be using this as leverage
Sure,
because
maybe.
he coached Texas. He wants to get another big.
He's not
job,
getting another
and
job.
He's not getting another big job.
No, he's not. But there
He has
are
to have another-
there
he
are
has
very
another-
few jobs unless you're Lane Kiffin. Nobody gets multiples of those jobs.
Right.
Exactly.
But like there are kind of better jobs that he can. be lined up for.
Okay, Frank Reich. That's one. I'll take Frank Reich.
Trailhammer says Frank
Right
Reich
now.
is available. Yes, put Frank Reich in there. That would be
Please,
terrific.
because that's like a less energetic version of Tom Allen.
what number head coach stop you know?
So
that
I
would be
do-
for him.
What?
You know number
Frank
head
Reich?
coach that would be for him.
Oh,
For
let's
Frank-
not talk about which number head coaching job that'd be for Frank Reich.
So the Noodle brings up Toledo's head coach,
My boy.
Jason Candle. Yeah, let's not joke about
Yeah,
that
Candle would be
because
good.
this is
Yeah, he'd be
this
good.
is the reason. This is the reason why I think IU is making a really good decision, even though it's $20 million or $15 million or whatever. It's
Because he's
there
available.
there are a lot of good coaches
Yeah,
available.
you don't need to
There are
stick with.
a lot of
They,
really solid coaches.
Tom Allen
that
was
are
there
here.
for 7 years. You're giving it enough of a chance. You gave it enough of a shot, and
Well, that bizarre COVID year is the thing that floated him. Plain and
I
simple.
mean, speaking of coaches from stranded Pac-12 teams that are coming into the Big Ten, like Dickert from Washington State, like
yeah,
that would suck.
Sure.
That would suck. Washington's OC, that would be bad. You know what I mean? Like there are so many really good options.
But I feel like IU is, and I know what you guys will say it's a Big Ten job is the answer here. But I feel like IU football is one of the few in the Big Ten where it's like, it's kind of a wasteland right now. Maybe less so without being stuck in that East Division. Maybe it now looks a little more
It's better.
It's better, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to play those teams every year necessarily.
Yeah.
But man,
In-
it's tough to build
in the
anything.
East, there were few. It was in the running for worst job.
I mean, you had to play
in
Michigan and
Power
Ohio
Five.
State every year, and Penn State every year.
Penn State, yeah, you play all three of them. That's tough.
It's a tough conference. It got tougher. That's the thing. We all know that. It doesn't matter if you're East or West. IU fans had a narrative going that was asinine because they'd say, "Oh, if they're in the West," and they'd say, "When you go and you play the West, you lose there too."
The record
Clowns.
was
It
so
doesn't
bad against
matter.
the West. Well,
Doesn't matter.
Osterman pointed out to us that Tom Allen,
What,
he
2 wins?
3 over the last
2 Big
3
Ten
years.
wins? 3.
He had an 0-9, a 2-7, and this year has 1 win. So
Right.
3 Big Ten wins over the last 3 years, which is since they got to their mountaintop. And I relived that recently and looked at that. They beat a lot of good teams, but there were
Right.
no fans. It was a very weird year. Were coming off an 8-win season, which is, you go 8 and then you have a season where you're literally, they went 6-1 in the regular season. You realize the only loss they had was at Ohio State by a touchdown. If that doesn't happen, they are in the Big Ten title game that year.
Right.
That's
I mean,
like,
that was a legitimately really
They were good.
season. And that's something that like they should, and again, like we root against IU as professionally, but like Tom Allen, we didn't find anything objectionable.
when Tom Allen
with
treated
Tom
Tyler Trent well, that was where I think every Purdue fan was like, you know what? This guy's fine.
He's
Remember how good he was to him?
everything-
Like,
he's-
you know what?
He's handled all of this really well, and it's like again, nothing
Dude, he
would.
wrote-
In the vein of me getting
Gave him
to
$5
me
million.
wanting to hate IU football again. Like I would love if they hired John Gruden, just because
It'd be perfect.
it would just
IU.
reignite something. in me.
FYI,
It would
IU
just-
still hasn't won a bowl game since 1991, right? Is that or that's not
That's
right?
right.
Is it? That's right.
That's right.
That's right. Okay.
because they lost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they lost to Ole Miss, right? That one year.
That was the
That
COVID
is
year.
That
wasn't
was
it?
the
Crazy.
COVID year. Yeah.
That was 9 with
Yeah.
Indiana.
Was that the one where they are all convinced that the field goal was good, or was that a different one? I think that was a different one. They still talk about it. That the
Oh
field,
yeah.
that might have been in the Pinstripe Bowl. It was some. Maybe it might have been the year before that because they went back.
I don't think
to
it was Pinstripe. I think it was what was the other weird bowl?
They went back to back years and lost them.
They didn't go to the
They
Mayo
played-
Bowl, did they?
They
don't
played.
think so.
Let me see.
Figured
But-
it was right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, Beasley's talking about
Kick was not good.
Kane Womack, who used to be their defensive coordinator. Like, there are so many good options for them. And really, like, that, it's great timing for them. This is probably the move that needed to be done. I'm not reveling in them actually making a good decision.
Right.
That's not great.
Right.
But I just do hope that it all works out to be.
What do you guys make
Yeah,
of players?
Tennessee. It was Tennessee.
Players jetting out of there.
Oh,
Lost in the Gator Bowl.
John
2019,
Gruden,
the year
I'm
before.
sorry, or Tommy Reese.
Tommy Reese.
I will accept Tommy Reese as
That'd be
well.
fun.
Tommy Reese, you got to hire.
I mean,
Tommy
That's your
Reese.
guy, you. That's your B program anyway, right? That you got to go after the.
You don't worry a little bit. A young guy, energy, might recruit well. No, not worried about that.
Yeah, no, we got that one. Yeah, if we're going like mano a mano versus Tommy Reese with
He's
our
not
guy,
a good.
yeah, I'm
He's not a
sticking
good
with our
offensive
guy.
coordinator. Here's the thing.
No.
That's the little. Just look. He's not good at what he does. So yes,
yeah, but
that's
he
the
drew-
guy.
Converted
he
that
drew
4th and
up-
31, baby.
I know he
Yeah,
drew
he
up
did
that
just the
Jim-
way he
that,
drew it up.
Milrow. Exactly. It's a genius.
You're going to look in the back corner and you're going to have one-on-one coverage despite 8 guys
For
being
some
on
damn
defense in the
reason,
end
doesn't
zone.
make any sense.
Oh man, God, I love college football. Love it. Love every part of it. Never gets old to me. But
It's
one
a silly
last
season.
Nebraska. I put this up on Twitter. Did you guys see that Matt Rule talked about how sometimes, when you're early in the process of overcoming this kind of stuff, the guys who were there at the meeting, sometimes they don't see the results. And he said, when you're the first guy storming the beach at Normandy, you might not see it because you might be blown into different pieces. That's true. That is just like playing football. For Nebraska.
He didn't say that.
Yes. He didn't say the blown apart part. I said that.
Okay,
He said, when you're the first guy storming the beach in Normandy, you might not see the positive outcome.
That's exactly
Boy,
like
that's
what
bad.
we're doing.
Boy,
here.
that is bad.
Yeah. And he's not going to catch anywhere near the flack he should because it was Nebraska media gathered in front of him. So, yep.
And it's football. This is how all
I
of them
tweeted it.
talk,
It's a
and
video
all
on check
ridiculous.
my
Yeah.
feed out when you get the chance later tonight. And you can see him say that.
Put his foot in his
Oh
mouth.
man, so good. So he's 5-7. So, I mean, I just already can't wait for next year. Dion, Matt Rule, what IU's going to do, Purdue, of course. All these interlopers coming into
Ton
the
of
Big
coaching.
Ten, like freaking Oregon on the schedule. What the hell is this crap? Oregon and Oregon State. Purdue's playing a Pac-12 schedule next year.
Oregon State, I don't mind now that Jonathan Smith left, and
I gotta go to Corvallis,
he's
man.
at Michigan State.
Still got
I don't
him,
like
right?
any part of that.
I don't love the road game, but that is now without Jonathan.
It's a
Smith,
little
that
better.
is now
It's a
a-
little
Oh,
more
it's a little
palatable.
better.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit.
So
better.
when you look at the
Um,
schedule, guys, right now,
Oh yeah.
is
More.
it better or worse than this year's schedule? I think it's better. I think it's a tougher
I
schedule.
think yes. Oh, I thought that's what you meant. Yeah. It's worse in
it
the
is a
sense
more
that it's
difficult
harder.
schedule.
Yeah, it's hard.
Oh, it's hard. I looked at it trying to find 6 wins, and it was not easy.
You have 6 games which could be winnable,
Right.
right? And again, that's kind of similar to this year, but this year you ended up with almost 6 games. You
Sure.
know what I mean? Like
Sure.
you almost ended up sweeping those games, and so you would think again, depending on making sure that certain people are staying, like it would be good. Like I think you could start to count on that. And Card is
If you
back
come
and
out of the
things like
gates and
that,
you
but-
beat up Indiana State, which they will, and then you win at Oregon State, now suddenly you feel like, okay, now anything's possible. That's the big if. It's just like
you
the
start
Fresno
2-0.
game.
You start 2-0, and
Well,
boy,
you have
that's
Notre
small.
Dame.
Well, there's a
That's
game
good.
sandwiched in between there that
You're
I'm
not
not.
gonna
Are
start
they?
Notre
Oh,
Dame.
it is between that.
You're not
You're
gonna
right.
start
I'm
Notre
sorry.
Dame. Notre
I'm
Dame.
sorry.
That-
Notre Dame is
Well,
second.
yes, you could stop. By the way, yes, you could start 2-0. You want my hot take right now?
Ooh.
Marcus Freeman is extremely beatable early in the season.
Yeah,
Let's go.
bringing the heat. Look at how hyped up he is after that win.
Yep.
Look at it. Look at the swing. Look at the turnaround. I love it.
Give me one. Here's what I need. Here's what I need for victory. It's very simple.
Yes.
Give me one big time receiver.
Like yeah.
I
Give
want
me
a
one
line.
big
I
time
want big.
receiver. I'm telling you, I think that gets the victory.
With Card throwing
Yes.
the ball. Hell yeah.
What if McCauley came to Purdue?
I don't know if
That'd be
he's
nice.
big time enough. Sorry, Macaulay.
He's pretty big.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be
He's good.
nice.
He's
I mean,
good.
like again, you see, but again, I trust Walters to get good play. Like I trust
But he
Walters
needs
to be able
a
to attract
receiver.
players to
They
Purdue.
need a receiver. I mean, that's
like an
If
actual.
Burks doesn't
true
have like a
X
dip
threat,
in the
yeah.
middle of the season where he just forgets how to catch the ball for a couple weeks and just gets back.
Exactly. I think the
He'd be a
problem is
good
Burks
second.
is not a possession receiver.
Right.
It's that simple.
He's a big
Right?
play speedster that,
Right.
yeah.
Send him on go routes. Send him where
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
catching the ball over his shoulder. Don't send him dragging across the middle. That's not his stuff.
No, you're right. You're right. Well, I think the two tight ends showed out on Saturday.
Oh, they showed out big.
You should be excited.
I think that's going to be one of the strengths
Bibber
of next year's
and,
team with Max Clare coming back.
Yeah, Claire. You got Claire Bibber and Burren.
George.
Burren.
Just call him George.
Burren.
George.
Yeah,
Big George.
George
That's
Burns.
all.
Yeah.
Actually, we already had a
That
big
seems
George,
right.
but
That
I
sounds
still want to
nice.
call him
Yeah,
George.
exactly.
Well, they got a guy coming in. He's gonna be a freshman, but he's a 4-star, 6'2", 185.
Yeah. I know.
That's-
I really like the portal to give this guy.
Like a 6'4",
Mhm.
A guy that is ready to go right now. He's already a baked product. He's already a guy that you've seen produce against big time guys. That's
Mhm.
to me. There's my Christmas wish. You
I
get
love
that? I'm telling you. You could start 3-0. How about that?
Woo!
You have a guy named Mershawn Rice in the transfer.
Him or
portal.
Sean Rice.
And then do you
is-
know who you get
Yeah.
to kick off Big Ten play at home?
Well,
Nebraska.
this might be a BS summit that we might be planning
Yeah.
right now.
Late September, beautiful day in West Lafayette.
Yeah, that's a good point. By the way, somebody
1 and
brings
2
up
Nebraska
I can't
coming to
pronounce
town.
that
What?
username. Goldie
Cool.
brought up Jamal Edredney. Yeah, he would have helped.
I want
He
to
would
see
have
you
helped right.
pronounce that all season over a bourbon. I want you to say that name all year.
Yeah, there's some names I just simply cannot say. Like I've got a real problem. I could not say Oso.
murder.
What's his name from Marquette? Can't say that name.
Doesn't
Oh,
work.
so Iguodala. It's not that hard. That one's not that hard.
Yeah,
That one's not that hard.
Well, it's
He
worse
knows it's
when
not
you
that hard.
say it and I repeat it. I can do that, but you're not here all the time, and I have to read it. And
He
I
doesn't
want to say
have a telephone.
Iguodala. I'm like, that's not his
Yeah,
name.
you did. You have said Iguodala.
Yeah.
multiple
Iguodala.
times.
Andre Iguodala. Yeah,
Alfred
Tom
Dowd,
Headington says
Alfred
the
Dowd,
Aliens,
Veteran.
football-
aliens have the space beams pointed at Earth. I want Iguodala.
Tom,
But Alfred Dowd says, what about Tibbs? I think Tibbs is a
Yeah.
good receiver. Tibbs is I think he's going to get the red shirt, which doesn't really matter, but he's really a red shirt freshman next year. He's a good receiver. He's a good body. A lot
he's
of
not
people
what you're
said
talking about.
that's not what I'm talking about. I need a
Well,
proven
do you
commodity.
see what
wide
Tom
receiver.
Headington says? He says the football version of Lance Jones, and that's Tom trying
Yes.
to guide us into
Perfect.
basketball. But yes, I know exactly what you mean.
Perfect, Tom. Sorry, Dad. I agree. Tibbs is
So
good,
it's-
but I need that's what I need. The straw that stirs the drink. That's what I need on
So-
offense.
In general, a season that lived up to what we were hoping for, didn't exceed it though. It kind of hit the mark, but that was about it. You're kind of hoping for next year to be like a step.
Got to step forward next year.
right?
Keep this one.
But there is enough here to see that you could buy into a step forward. You
Yeah,
could buy into 6
I
wins.
really, I mean, I need to see. Well, here's the thing. I want to have a season next year where I can't give excuses to the offensive coordinator for why they sucked for a third or more of the season. Like that offense was rough. Let's just
your
not
your
gloss
wish
over.
list. Well, so I suppose is if my wish list can be Scourton staying.
Yeah.
I suppose that is my one thing wish
That'd be
list. But the other
pretty good.
is line. I mean line depth. We don't even
Yes,
need,
and I think they'll get
you know,
that. I think they'll get that. But
I think so
But
too.
even so, you have guys. If everybody holds true, other than if they only lose one guy to the portal, that's a starter at one point of this season. The offensive line can be pretty solid next year, regardless.
Oh,
because they
And I would say I don't know who the offensive line coach name is off the top of my head. He's good, whoever he is, because what he did this year, I think, is he the old veteran or is that the D line coach? What he did this year is flat out
Marcus
incredible.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Third,
Great.
I mean, like
Great
third.
job.
You're working on third.
Give him a raise.
Gus Hartwig and third stringers. I
Yeah.
mean, like it was
It's
rough.
amazing.
And so
It's amazing.
depth on the line
Right.
is all, especially like as the recruits that they're coming in start to beef up, like you just need some junior college depth that can slot in if and when these
Right.
injuries
That's the thing.
'Cause
Like what you just said, you can get JUCO depth. We even saw
Oh,
this
yeah.
year, Purdue had a guy from Indiana Wesleyan.
Yeah.
I screwed up
Farrell.
his name, Farrell. I called him Freehill twice this year. Farrell, and he was good. He was solid. That my whole point is you can get offensive linemen if you kind of watch tape and look at what this guy's attributes and his motor and all that. Okay, we can go get O linemen. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
The
Depth.
proven salty wide receiver, and it might need to be. Let's see. Let's think of the roles. It probably would be best if it's a possession receiver, right?
NX. Yep. Yeah.
So that'd be the great compliment to the rest of these guys. And you've already got a burner on the outside, and then Tibbs, I think, will be. I think Tibbs is going to be good. I think Edrin is going to be good too. Nailed it that time.
Like I'm really like that's the other. If we can make sure the tight ends stay, like that would be nice. But again, this is the new reality. It's very strange. We all got to kind of live through it. But I think having a guy like Walters, you become a little bit more confident.
Oh, yeah.
When you have somebody like that trying to convince you to come back.
You do worry about coaches losing their energy around recruiting, and I don't see that with him. Not now, not for a long time. And
no, exactly.
Yeah. So, and I mean, the whole idea, and even Tom Allen was saying this in his post game, like you have to go, he said the first thing you do tomorrow is you start re-recruiting your own guys. It's so different than you got to re-recruit your own guys. You got to recruit new guys. You got to recruit from the transfer portal. It is an exhausting job. And I can see why coaches don't want to do it or lose energy. Like we used to talk about how Tiller lost energy at the end, and it was a very different game back then. And you can see how guys probably lose the energy earlier. So the fact that some of these guys coach into their 70s, now they're usually figurehead-ish. Like I think about Saban, like I don't think he's doing very much of the recruiting anymore.
He just seals the deal probably, right? With a very high five
exception. Yeah, he might be the exception to this.
Because the stories he has a weird amount of
in home, right? Living room stuff, right?
Yeah, he's very good at that stuff. He goes and supposedly goes to every cookout and dances at family things, and like he's a complete goofball.
You remember when we were just writing his obituary earlier this season, and now like they're still in national title contention. I mean,
like,
it's an
they lost to Texas,
but like, yeah,
that Texas team really bad. That's a bad loss.
Why is that a bad loss? Texas is good.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Oh,
yeah, because Texas is in that conversation too. I mean,
yeah,
they did a couple things, but
now we talk about the chaos situation,
Yeah.
which is what I'm hoping for. Iowa beating. This is the first week in the history of
you're actually going
Niche
to want
that I will be
No, you
rooting
really-
for
I don't-
Iowa. Absolutely, because screw Michigan. But also, it would be absolute chaos. Michigan, Ohio State would both have one loss. If Georgia loses to Alabama, that's another one.
Michigan would have a
Florida
worse
State-
loss, though. Ohio State could claim
Yeah.
they have a much better loss losing to Michigan.
Florida State, which would be hilarious if they picked Ohio State
They
over
would.
Michigan. There you
They
go.
would,
That would be
in that
incredible. It's either Louisville winning, like beating Florida State, or losing. It doesn't matter. Florida State is constant chaos because they don't have their quarterback.
Florida State could be 13-0 and not get picked because
Oregon is a favorite.
they're a
against-
big favorite. They're a 9-point favorite over Washington.
Yeah, I don't get that at all.
And then Texas, Oklahoma State. What craziness has ever
Oh
happened
man,
with
that
those
could be
two?
banana time.
Stability. Yeah. And so it's like I am hoping for nothing but chaos because then just making
One of the
last
things
year
that I
this
think is
14
funny
play.
because I had 10 plus hours in the car on Sunday, and I listened to several college sports radio Sirius XM shows. And one of the things I think is funny is everybody starts to default into what will make the most. Like everyone's talking about, would Texas or Alabama make it if they both only have one loss, which assumes that Alabama beats Georgia. But why do people? I know they did it last year to them in the SEC title game, but it's just such a funny leap to be just people were talking about that almost the way you talk about Michigan's going to beat Iowa, right? They're like, and if Alabama beats Georgia, then you've got to like now. The point I heard, I don't know if you guys heard this talked about. This was being talked about frequently on college sports radio on Sirius, was a scenario where if Alabama beats Georgia and Texas wins their game, Texas would go theoretically over Alabama, right? Because they beat Alabama head-to-head in Tuscaloosa, right? Georgia should be out because they lost to Alabama. So then you'd have no SEC school in, and you know there's no way the college football playoff.
No, they won't allow that.
Well, I mean, you have
it
the
would
SEC
make
school in
sense.
Texas.
You could have Texas, Oregon, Michigan, and FSU, and you can't really argue with those four. You can't really argue with it.
It would be chaos. It's chaos. This is what I'm rooting for.
That's what I'm rooting for. Is the SEC getting shut out, which will never happen.
It won't happen. But that sounds
well.
awesome.
Do you think you're sure that they would put in Oregon there?
Yes.
The winner of the Pac-12 title game is going, no doubt.
The Pac-12 has been so
They
good
should
this
be,
year.
but-
I think they're in.
I think they're definitely.
I
going.
would love it if both the Pat, I would the amount of excitement that you take in the SEC getting frozen out is what I would take if the Big Ten got frozen out. Just because it's like I don't like any of these people. Why would I?
Well,
root
and they
for
haven't
them?
they haven't acquitted the Big Ten well for those who care about the conference. I mean,
Right.
No.
Michigan's
Go
gotten smoked. They got
Conference.
beat up by TCU last year.
Yeah.
So like, no, but LBD's question is actually a very fair one. The most ESPN college football playoff thing ever would be the scenario I just laid out, and then they put Georgia and Alabama in.
Right. And
That-
snub.
That would be the most ESPN college football playoff thing ever, and it's not out of the question.
I'd say put Washington, Oregon, Texas, FSU. Let's go. This is my
Both
top.
Pac-12 teams in?
Yeah, absolutely. They've been the two most fun teams all
I
year.
love it.
Just
You
have
know,
them play
I love
again.
this so much
Just have them play
because of
again.
Have them play
we are the
Build the whole
anti
plane out of the
go
black
conference.
box.
It's so good. So good.
We're the what?
Anti-go conference.
Anti like
Yes.
SEC chance.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
No, I wish nothing but sadness
Yeah.
and
For
misfortune.
those three teams
upon
that are in
my Big Ten
contention.
brethren.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a solid hour plus on football. I'm so glad
You got
guys-
your wish.
I wanted 30 minutes, and
Right. And we blasted through. We
we could
doubled
keep
it up.
going. We could keep going.
Yeah.
I mean, the Noodle says it'd be even funnier if Brian Ferentz gets his offensive score 26
That's not
on
happening.
UM. If they score 26, they're
Yes,
going to win.
This is what I want. Nope, you're right. You're right, Noodle. This is exactly what I want. I want a 47-point.
Exactly. I want them to hang a 50 burger on Michigan's, on Ferentz going
This
out
is
the door.
exactly what I
Quarterback.
want.
All sorts of clever
Nothing
play
would
calls,
make me happier.
flea flickers, like all sorts of just. He works.
Reach into the
They
bag.
get Jeff Brom to call the game for one weekend.
Yeah, Jeff, send us all
That's
the
it.
plays you were too afraid to call the last couple of years.
Is Louisville still playing in the ACC champ?
Yeah,
'Cause they won.
Yeah, they're
they
still
they
in.
won. They just okay. Because I wasn't.
that was a
sure.
non-conference game that they tripped over themselves.
Oh, that's
So-
right. Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
so they're in against FSU, and I
Yeah.
mean, if they had beaten Kentucky, I think they'd be a favorite in that game because
They should be.
FSU is without their starting quarterback. But I don't know if you guys like people were acting like they don't deserve to get in the playoff because they beating Florida in the swamp in a rivalry game. I watched
Yeah,
most of that
pretty
game.
good.
That's
Florida's
not
not
easy.
good, but it's a hard place to win. It's a hard place.
It's
to
very hard to win.
Yeah.
They played really well. They found a way to win. Their
win.
defense
It's pretty
is still
impressive.
really
I mean,
good.
like to have
To
a
go
quarterback
12-0,
that
man.
dynamic, and then you say, okay, he gone. That's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. I think as Purdue fans, we can empathize with that situation. I think.
Yep.
Anything
so
else?
Football is pretty
Anything
cool.
else happened last
I-
week?
I don't know. Purdue basketball is a blue blood now, doing things that blue blood schools don't do. It seems
Purdue
like.
basketball
Better
is
than blue
weird.
blood.
Is the topic of
It seems
every what's the Field of 68 after dark every night.
Every
it seems like they're talking.
You look, what's my feed is filled with pictures of Zach Edey in Field of 68 snippets.
It's
All
yeah,
Field of 68 all the time.
and there's no
Yeah.
like, and there was one today that I saw that I posted a few hours ago that said, it's time to change the narrative about Purdue and we should respect them. And there were people in the comments rightfully saying, you can respect them all you want. Like nobody says they're not a good team.
Right.
Nobody's made that argument.
In fact, Painter is like, we should be paying attention to this next game versus Texas Southern because they're a
tournament
like
team.
non-power conference
They're the-
tournament, perennial tournament team. We lost. I think he even
They're
said
the
it
thorn.
like today or yesterday, whatever. It's like that's the team that we lost to. We should be scared of them.
Yeah.
Like, or whatever he said. Competitive fear
30
is something that they should have.
33
so,
and 3, I believe the stat was in the non-conference over the last 3 years. With
December 2020
with wins over Marquette twice, Gonzaga twice, Villanova,
Duke, UNC,
Duke, UNC. I mean,
Kentucky, Kansas are really the only
Tennessee,
two that are missing.
like,
Yeah,
like
Tennessee.
just Kentucky and Kansas are the only
Marquette,
two,
yeah.
but that's because they haven't played them. And
Yeah.
and the only 3 losses in those 36
I know.
games
There's the plan.
were to North Texas, FDU, and St. Peter's. So,
That's right.
but
Texas
what I-
Southern, this coming up here, they know the sting of losing to FDU. They lost to them. It hurts
Right.
bad.
right. But I think
Same thing.
someone got into my mentions about Purdue and said that clearly losing to those higher seeds means that, and he set himself up so badly. He said
Can't beat anyone.
losing to those 3 high seeds means there's a skill issue at Purdue. I said, no. See, if you're going to say that, then winning those 30 games in the non-conference
Yeah.
is also a skill issue. And what the losing to the crappy seeds proves is that there is an element of randomness. to college basketball, right? This supports Anish's crapshoot point.
But this is to me, Jay, what this builds is it builds you and I's argument about how much coaching matters in the NCAA tournament. It's the inverse of the success of Roy Williams and Mike Krzyzewski and Bill Self and whatever. It's Matt Painter's lack of success. It's the same thing. The confidence those guys instill in the huddle, in those many two-day tournaments every weekend, right? For a couple weeks in a row, whatever Matt Painter does is the opposite, right? Because he says things to them like, oh gosh, this seems bad. Should we be nervous right now? Do you think he says that? Because that's what I picture.
No, because
you don't think he says that? I know
because I think he used to exude a little bit of nervousness, and then you were one of the people.
You think he exuded a little bit of nervousness?
No, but you pointed out that he suddenly seemed to get it and was calmer and was the calming force. And he
knew his problem. He went after an analytics guy because he's like, this is the way. Because I believe in analytics. I'm going to go find somebody I can trust. I'm going to lean on him until I'm not going to lean on him anymore. That's what I'm going to do.
Well, I don't know if the analytics supported missing,
Sure. I'm sure the analytics said you're going to hit a shot eventually.
You should hit a three instead of again. But it's like 3 straight years, number one. Like I went from 3 years ago writing the Purdue's the best team
to never be number one.
To never be number one. And now it's like now it's just an every year occurrence. Now people can't wait to root for Purdue. Now every opposing coach, if you watch all of the opposing coaches post-game things, and Purdue's played a murderer's row of kind of opposing coaches so
Great
far.
Coaches.
But like every one of them is like, man, Painter runs his program as good as anybody else like in the country. Everybody loves Painter. Like everybody's rooting for Purdue. So what we were saying was they should let us win. That's what it's just let us win. Everybody likes Matt Painter. Just let
one
him
time.
have this
Just one tournament.
Just one. Would it really hurt that much?
It's like the NBA, Anish, right? Where it's like, okay, now Denver has their title. They got theirs. Okay, good. That's good. I'm glad that Jokic got his. That's good. I'm glad he has one. Dirk got one years ago, right? We don't want these guys to not get one.
The Giannis
got a title, right? Painter needs a Final Four. He needs
just one.
He deserves one.
Just a title.
You're pushing.
I know you there are a lot of Chicago crossovers here. It's just like the Cubs. That's all they needed was one World Series, right?
And then they just rattled them off.
Kept winning.
Can wait for another 120 years or whatever it is. And I think we would all be okay with that.
I'll take the deal.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I'll take it.
I think
undefeated
what
season.
I've been trying.
All right.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Oh.
In fact, I would rather lose to Texas Southern tomorrow than
go
undefeated.
Hell yes. I don't want to head into the tournament undefeated. Oh dear Lord.
There's such a Purdue thing to say though, right?
There's nothing more torturous.
I almost don't know how badly I want to be number one. I'm glad it's neat. It's cool. Just, the other thing that I saw, it's been one calendar year, guys. They have not been outside the top 5.
Right.
In a calendar year.
Because they're really good.
Allegedly.
It's good. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy it in the moment. We got to keep reminding ourselves this. Enjoy the moment.
Okay. Does Purdue get to Alabama without losing?
How many more?
Who's in
Texas Southern, at Northwestern, and versus Iowa?
Yes. Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, could they lose?
So the next question after that is logical. Does Purdue get to January without losing?
I think no. I would bet no.
I think they leave December with 2 losses. How about that?
I think that's fair. But
I don't think it's Arizona and Alabama.
You think it's like
Texas Southern and Northwestern?
No, I think it could very easily be one of these 2 clowns here, Northwestern and Iowa. Very easily.
You're saying they don't get to the Rutgers game on January 28th undefeated?
That's
no, thank you.
Yeah, if that one you just say we're not. I said that's at Rutgers.
It's at Rutgers.
You don't even travel at that point. You don't go to Piscataway.
Forfeit.
You send the walk-ons. You send the walk-ons. Have a good time.
7,000 players this year.
You could play a great game with those guys. They could hustle and fight and lose by 15.
They might win.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, no, want no part of that place, that team, and I can't believe.
Frail Hammer says Arizona's in Indianapolis. That's magical for Purdue. Indianapolis is a magical place.
Alabama is in Canada.
Alabama's in Canada. Yeah.
I don't even know what that means. Does that game even count? It's not. It's,
you get
Only for Zach.
you get 83% of
that's
a-
exactly
of a win.
right.
When it goes into the
Canadian
computers,
win.
the conversion is not worth a full.
Not a
win.
full win.
Yeah.
So
You have to.
I do think Ken Palm takes account of the international.
I think Zach
exchange
Edey
rates.
will be in on his home soil. Canadian treasure. Canadian national.
I
Does
think
it
they have a
look
better
like
chance
soil?
of
Does it
winning
matter?
in
Does that where he
Canada than Indianapolis.
Yeah, I mean Arizona is really good, man.
I think no, he's talking more about. He thinks Indianapolis is. Just
I think Indianapolis
Oh,
has
the
bad
juju.
juju. Exactly right.
The soil of Indianapolis is bad. You're saying.
Yep.
I would like to lose. It'd be nice. This is the Purdue thing. I don't want to go undefeated.
And Carnahan just said, "quote Alabama is in Canada." He says sports without context.
That's awesome.
Have you ever heard of a little midseason tournament called the Crossroads Classic?
I have.
Yeah.
I have. It's
Yeah,
gone.
that's
now.
fun.
Purdue plays pretty
I
well
love
on that
that.
one.
First of all, the Crossroads Classic could have been so amazing if, and I know I'm not the first one to say that. We used to talk about this. Just invite 4 more schools from Indiana and make it an actual tournament. Make it an actual little tournament. That'd be
fun.
so fun. So fun.
Shout out Evansville. Like,
I don't know.
bring in-
Valpo,
yeah,
Notre
exactly.
Dame, or Notre Dame was there. I don't know. Ball
Fort
State.
Wayne.
I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah, there's enough basketball in Indiana that could be fun.
You could do it, and they'd love it. They'd love being part of that. It's just like
Or
the teams
bring
that
in
get to go to the pre
other
pre-con
schools.
play.
I literally think I'm not kidding about this. That damn tournament or that invitation, whatever we call the Crossroads
MT.
Classic, that thing ruined me as a
Yeah, you hated that.
Purdue neutral site ticket buyer. Like I hate that event so much. I hate it, and because of that, my bad feelings about buying anywhere. I'm just like, I don't want to go. Mm-mm. That's no fun. Everybody hates Purdue. We go neutral site. Everybody hates Purdue. I've been to a lot of fun games. A lot of fun.
You
Purdue
like him in
wins.
Louisville. You like him in Louisville.
I do like him in Louisville. I like him in Boston. I've been to places where Purdue wins in neutral sites, but
Not Houston.
no.
I've seen him in Houston too.
Yep.
Good week though. Good week. Good wins. You covered them all very well. Zach Edey going for 28 and 15 every night, and everybody's like, yawn.
I mean, they see, and he misses like 7 or 8 bunnies, and
Right.
so it could so easily be.
Anisha's
35.
brother was referring to it as Shaq ass stats. He's like, what is this Shaq ass stuff he's putting up? 28 and 15 and missing his free throws? What is this?
Yeah, the missing the free throws is a weird.
Well,
shot.
this season he's shooting 59%.
Yeah, not good.
It's gonna come back. I mean, it's gonna.
It'll
it's
come
gonna
back.
Be
He's a good free throw
regression to the mean. That's the thing, and so it's like, it's.
Yeah, he's shooting 12% better from free throw than he is field goal.
And so
he
all
gotta get on
he's
a tear, boys.
and so all Purdue has done is swept what they said what the most stacked.
Everybody keeps saying it
non-conference
was the
tournament.
best Maui Invitational ever. And I've heard it's not
Best
hyperbole.
non-con
I've heard a number of people.
tournament.
I saw old man
Jim
Boeheim
Boeheim
say
said that, Jay.
Yes.
Jim Boeheim said it.
He said it's the best.
He said Purdue's the best team in America, like unequivocally. He was like,
Well, they should be
How
unanimous.
is
"What
He's
the hell
still
type
around.
of world am I living?"
They
in?
should
not
be
coaching.
unanimous. But
How is Jim Boeheim just still hanging around?
What,
He looks
alive, you
like
mean?
He looks like he's pretty.
No,
happy.
just
Collective.
relevant.
What do you mean?
Why
He
is
has-
still giving quotes?
he has
Stuff
kids
on
that are
one.
in their 20s. I don't know how old can he be?
He's a virile man.
60?
Yeah, he's-
No,
yeah,
thank
exactly.
you. No,
Almost
thank
80
you.
years
I
old.
would like
It's
to.
insane.
I would like to
great.
not participate in this discussion.
Imagine moving to Syracuse when you're 18 and then staying
you were gonna
there
say imagine
for
something
60 years.
That's wild.
Beautiful. Syracuse, New York.
Dino Babers got out. Dino Babers.
Dino,
got his rip
come
curl
home.
A good
roll,
point, Jay.
so-
By the way, you'd be very depressed and depressing and whiny
And
if you lived
cranky.
in Syracuse that long.
For 60 years.
Goodness
Fair.
gracious, that's rough.
Honestly, I've never empathized with Jim Boeheim
Until
at
just
all
now.
until you said that.
Yeah,
Until you said
good
that.
point.
But okay, I get it. I get it now.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I'm grumpy enough in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Right.
Ted
All right.
Berkey, you got a great
So-
point. We won in Maui by playing our B game. Sure, let's just go with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Just
fine.
Didn't play good.
It's
Didn't play well at all.
Well, we
Yeah.
played that good Marquette half. The first half
They
was
played a good first half versus
Yeah.
Marquette and a good second half versus Gonzaga,
Mhm.
and that bull crap versus Tennessee the whole game.
I think we brought saying Dino Babers OC, but you brought in like Dino, just come and write
Whatever
your
you
own
wanna
job.
do,
Come-
Dino.
What do you want to
whatever,
do, Dino?
Whatever. Do whatever.
Be an
man.
advisor.
Look at
be
your
a-
old house
you
that you
what's
like.
up.
He probably had a crappy house because he was a GA then. So, but go get any house you want. Go live in the hills
buy
in
you a
West
nice
Lafayette.
house.
Beautiful.
Exactly. I think his Syracuse buyout is going to be. I think he got
okay.
a double-digit millions buyout.
Yeah, I
from-
think it was
from
what
Syracuse.
11 or 12. Is that right?
I think low. I think it's closer to 10, but
8
like,
to 9
you know,
million is what the
Okay, how
report
about this
Oh.
question? Okay, because I'm the founder and president
I
of the
would
Dino
take it, yes.
Fabers fan club.
Dino Fabers.
Huh?
Dino Fabers.
Dino Fabers.
Dino Fabers
Hey,
band
Nabbit,
club.
why do you call me on things because my mouth doesn't work?
No, just
Gracious.
learning how to talk.
Okay, so Dino Babers gets hired by IU. Happy or sad? I'm very sad.
Sad.
Oh, I'd be
Depressed.
sad.
Depressed, horribly
Despondent.
sad.
I'd be sad.
Awful. Because
I
I think
wanna-
he'd be good there too, because he's so steady.
And you like
so
him.
solid.
And
But you know
like
what?
I like
IU,
him.
the
I've
racist
already-
contingent, they'd have him out of there in like 2 years. So
Yeah.
I'm not worried.
I've
Mike-
already had enough of a likable IU coach. Again, I
Don't
would
want any
like-
more of
I
it.
would like John Gruden. I would like John Gruden.
Easy to disdain.
Tommy Reese.
I can't emphasize this enough.
Tommy
The
Reese.
Noodle. Are there hills in West Lafayette? Have you ever parked
How
in the
dare
free
you?
parking in West
I
Lafayette?
don't
How
walk
dare
to
you?
the Ross 8 is at the top of all of the hills of West Lafayette.
Exactly. Very high hills. My little
Beautiful
legs. I'm
vistas
tired
and
by the
the-
time I get to my seat
Yeah.
at Ross 8 every week.
They are little.
When those Pac-12 schools come visit, they're going to be like, "This is just like being in our old conference."
Exactly.
Views here are
Wow, they
great."
didn't tell
They're
us
gonna see
about
those
this.
beautiful hills just like Washington.
Yep,
Yeah,
just like Washington. Just like
and Colorado, Boulder.
Yep.
Oh, they're not. Oh, wait, they're Pac.
they were in
No,
Pac-12.
no, they're not
Good
anymore.
Boulder
Now they're-
is. Yeah. Oh,
mean-
Boulder and West Lafayette are very similar. We visited there just
Yeah.
very similar. Almost the same.
Similar people, similar environment,
Similar colors.
similar
I'll see.
colors. Yeah,
I'll
everything.
say.
Altitude similar. Yeah, yeah.
Well, guys, this has been a fun show, and I think that I'm always happy when Jay gets his wish granted. That's a big thing. Like that makes me happier than Purdue winning the bucket. I'll be honest.
Scott Frost.
Huh?
Scott Frost.
IU.
Scott Frost.
There's 3 names.
Let's go.
There's 3 names. Hire any of John Gruden, Tommy Reese, or
There's your
Scott Frost, and I will
acceptable
be
list.
a lifetime Hoosier fan.
Yes.
I would be thrilled.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
that's
exactly. You love the Hoosiers.
Yeah. I mean, like, trust me, one of those 3 would be great. Oh, Scott Jay. Can you imagine?
It really only worked as well as it did because of the fact that it was his stupid face
Alma mater.
with arrogance at Nebraska. It just all was so good together. I don't think he could possibly be. It'd be a cartoon if he was being cocky at IU, right?
You know that
No, he would look the pitiful Scott Frost at the end. He'd look like that like by game 2 or 3.
Joe Burrow
That'd be sad.
wanted to come to Nebraska, and Scott Frost was like, "No, we're good."
Yeah, I know.
What
I
an
know.
awesome
It's so
company.
great.
I didn't hear that.
Yes.
Actually, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Frost.
Did
was
you
like,
see
"Yeah,
Matt's
we'll do
comment,
that."
by the way? Can we put that on the screen real quick?
What, the last one? Nobody comes into
Yeah.
Ross Aid. Parentheses, altitude sickness.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Everybody
Little
came into
shots
Ross
of
Aid
air.
this weekend. Good for everybody.
Everybody came.
That's
Everybody's there.
great.
We can't
Shout
say
out
that
to
enough.
everyone.
I mean, so proud of Purdue fans because
Yeah.
that was so fun.
What a fun.
Did a good job.
what a
And
fun
you few
year
that,
here.
and it is few. It's not many. We hear their voices because we're on Twitter. You few that are happy about your misery, screw you. Seriously. And guess
Speak
what?
it
Here's the
elsewhere.
thing. Here's the next part. When Purdue breaks through and goes to the Final Four, and when Purdue has Ryan Walters contending for a Big Ten championship, don't come back.
Yeah,
Go
stay home.
move your sorry ass someplace else. I don't know what the hell you ever thought becoming a Purdue fan. You thought it was just going to be easy? Seriously. When did you? The people that are doing it are all old. They're all our age or older. Shut your
No.
face.
When
How
have
did
you?
this was
Yeah.
going to be easy.
Yeah, yeah. What do you? Well, yeah.
Meanwhile, the younger contingent is just it's all nihilism. It's
Right,
all like none
exactly.
of this matters. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm glad the young people are like that because we didn't learn that at that age. It took us a long time to come to the point we're at now where we're like, whatever.
The student section was really impressive. So that was, like again for 2, 3, and 3 and 8 teams
On
duking
Thanksgiving
it out
weekend.
in there, it's pretty good.
In the cold.
By the way, ooh. I will not be all positive about Saturday's game. I will not do it. They ran out of freaking bratwurst, hot dogs, pretzels. What the hell are they doing?
Look.
This is that's like
How could
that's
they
like someplace
know there was
Morgan
gonna
Bird
be a
looks down
rush?
and smiles on that because he's like,
How?
"Well done, not over ordering food, Ross Aid manager." Well,
At the end of the
done.
season, we don't want to have lots of leftover.
You
We're
don't
going
have
to throw out.
leftovers. What would you do with them? You give them to homeless people, and guess what? They'd
Or-
be damn happy eating bratwurst and hot dogs and pretzels for a couple weeks. They'd be happy.
Or just bring them across the street to Maggie.
Oh, wait a second. Wow.
Hand
Do you
them
think
out
people
like
are going to be
Jake's.
coming to
do you think,
Mackey this
do you
month?
think do you think there's any college students that are hungry?
No.
No.
Nah.
I'm telling you, hand them out like Jake's free.
I mean,
hot
they
dogs.
ran out. They
Yeah,
ran out in the third quarter of like everything.
And
We
know
were
you
in
get
section
one every
105,
quarter.
104. They're like, nope, we don't have anything.
So you didn't
Your
get
brother
third-
ate a
so you didn't get
delicious
your-
bratwurst, Anish.
He
And I
did.
was like, I
He
want a
did,
bratwurst.
in front of you.
No, you don't get a bratwurst, fatty. That's me talking.
And then he ordered a double at AJ's, and
Animal.
that's where
And then
everything
he didn't
was
finish
like,
it
I
because
didn't
he's
get
not
it.
18 anymore, and he hasn't realized that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love watching.
He's in that transition moment where it's
We've
like,
watched
I
you
can't
go
do
through
this
that, and it's
anymore.
been enjoyable.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Now I cut my Reese's cups into
Yeah,
fourths.
which is insanity.
We
By the
haven't
way,
shared
It's
that,
insane behavior.
but we should.
Before we leave, go buy your holiday can koozie. We've got 24 left. Order them quickly. There's the link up there in the corner. Go order it. It's fine. We'll mail it to you. You'll get a package from Pittsburgh. It'll be
Anish
great.
is on fulfillment now. I put
That's right.
I put the case of cans in his car in Indiana.
That's right.
Surprise!
We almost forgot. But that's fine. It's fine.
yeah.
Well, it's a good football season. It was fun. Two trophies, 4 wins, the bucket. It's all good. It's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm excited. We got good days ahead, old men. Things are in our lifetime. We're gonna see some fun stuff yet. And we've all been tainted a little bit about what our expectations are in basketball. But who knows? Maybe, just maybe, we'll see some
now
really
we-
good stuff in the next 5-10
Now we
years.
move on to completely stress-free.
Stress-free
sports season.
basketball.
I mean, that's another reason football is so fun. And I said this at the outset of the season. I said Purdue football rarely lets me down. Even a year like that, I had a great time.
It's
Ryan-
all.
Ryan Naney.
It is such a lesson in perspective,
It's
isn't it?
vibes.
That's it.
It's
Is
fun.
it Brian Nanny from the full cast is like, don't be insane. You should be Purdue. Like
He
you should
says that a
just be
lot, yeah.
happy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
have a
right.
good time.
Right.
It's just be
Yeah.
good. Be
It's
vibes.
sports,
It's
damn it.
great.
It's a game.
Ah, but if only, and across the street. Oh, what a difference! One side of the street from
Right.
the other. at
A very
Mackey
small
makes.
street, not even a wide, busy street. A street that hardly anyone ever
It's
crosses. during the week.
1.5 lanes. Yeah, it's rough,
Yeah.
man. It'll be fine. It'll be fine, and we'll check in with you guys periodically during the year. Who knows? We may still keep this Monday night.
That's what I was going to ask. I'm not going to ask you guys live on the air. That'd be wrong to do. I would
Yeah,
never
what are we
do
gonna
that.
do? Have an actual production
I-
meeting?
yeah, we're not going to have a production meeting
off
right
the
now.
air
That'd
anyway.
be the wrong thing to do.
Exactly.
Who knows?
But it was
Maybe 9 p.m. on Monday will also be the basketball beat. Maybe.
Who knows?
Right.
Who
So check with
knows?
that crew,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right,
producers
we gotta-
and everything.
Yeah, I don't even know who the producer is for the basketball beat. I don't even talk to that. That's
Good
way
job,
down the
Oaken.
hall.
This is why my buyout is so high.
That's right. That's right. You got so many things to do.
That's
Wear a lot of hats. So, well, it's been great fun being here with LBD, being here with J Money, and being here with Anish, and all of you who tuned in live. Handle. Maybe you'll see Michael Henry this basketball season. I'm not going to make any promises. I think he's a summertime Texas guy now. He's just a voice talent guy now. But I'm Boiler Dowd, one of your handsome co-hosts for the Handsome Hour. It's been a great season. Until next year, I love you guys. Good night.